If you're using ChatGPT to optimize your content, you're probably doing it wrong. Because most people's idea to get ChatGPT to work is to give them instructions to write an SEO optimized blog post and then be done with it. But there are two problems with this approach. First, you're not following Google's actual guidelines for EEAT. And of course, you're also violating Google's AI spam guidelines. So let me show you how the correct way is to use ChatGPT to write optimized blog posts while doing research and also saving you time in the process. Let's begin. So let's get started with the process. And of course, the first thing that we want to do before we write a blog post is do some keyword research and also ideally some audience research. So we know exactly what to write about and also how to write it and key questions we need to answer. So we'll use ChatGPT in this case, apart from other tools as well. And of course, I'm going to share my recommendations of the other tools that you can use in conjunction with ChatGPT. But most of the time, if you use it correctly, then ChatGPT should be enough to do most of the research for you. So let's head to my screen and see the process. So here I am now in ChatGPT. And of course, I'm using the free version of ChatGPT. So you don't have to pay anything. And the exact answer that you'll see on the screen is the same exact answer you'll get with using the same prompts. So here's the first prompt I have. So in this case, what I'm doing is just using ChatGPT to conduct some audience research first. And here's the prompt on the screen. Act as an SEO expert and help me with my query. I have a local business and in the brackets, I've written home elderly care, and you can replace this with your business or your niche. So it can be solar, landscaping, retail, car wash, car service, whatever you have. Make sure to replace the thing inside the brackets as your niche. And I'm writing a blog post on 10 tips to hire someone for elderly care. Now, of course, the title of the blog post is connected to niche. So make sure to change the title of the blog post to whatever you're writing, but the rest of the process is going to be exactly the same. Continuing the prompt, generate a brief audience persona, including demographics, interests, and pain points for my ideal audience for the blog post. This prompt will help us understand what common questions people have regarding this niche and the topic, and also some other information about demographics and ideal customer audience. So let's use the prompt and see what the answers are. So this is the response from ChatGPT. You can see the demographics, you can see the interest levels, and also main important, the pain points. So these are important things we need to understand, we need to answer in our blog post so that users can come to our website and also become customers. And of course, what you can also notice is ChatGPT is localizing some of the answers based on my location. So I'm in India, so it's giving me some answers based on my location and giving the income levels or something in India. But you can just circumvent this if you want to. You can say, hey, don't ignore my location and target a worldwide audience. And ChatGPT does a great job at just reiterating the same process and giving a worldwide audience answer. In this case, I'm going to stick with it, but you don't have to if you don't need to. So this is the basic idea. Now look at this, you understand what your ideal audience is. So what kind of language you need to write in, what is their income level, so what kind of services you can offer them, and what are the main pain points that you can address in the blog post so that you give a high quality answer to the query of the user. These are important points, and that's why this step is absolutely important. So let's do the next step of the process, which is the actual keyword research. Now there are plenty of tools. You can use WBeginner's free keyword research tool and go there and type in your queries. I've demonstrated that in many videos. So you can use that as well. You can use Google Keyword Planner, SEMrush, a lot of different tools. I'll leave some links in the description so you can check it out. But I'm going to use ChatGPT just to find some related keywords for these blog topics. So here's the prompt. I'll again copy it from my computer and just paste it in. And I'm going to read it out first. So the prompt is, provide a list of 15 long tail keywords related to, again in brackets, my niche, which is home elderly care, that have moderate competition and high user intent. Also give me a list of similar topics and keywords that people use to search for similar topics. Now, the two things to important or to consider here. First of all, you have to replace your niche or the niche I have included as your niche. And you can repeat the process here by doing two things. Either you change the niche or keep the niche as is, or change the niche to the blog post. Because if you do it for the blog post, ChatGPT will give you a return of, like say, LSI or more synonym keywords related to the exact blog topic. But if you just use the niche term, then it's going to give you more keywords that people use broadly in the niche, not just for the blog post. So if you're doing keyword research or doing a content strategy for your website, then stick with the niche idea. But if you want more LSI keywords for this, then just change it to more of the blog post. So in this case, I'm going to stick with the blog post. So what I'm going to do is copy the actual keyword idea here. And I'm just going to do it here. And I'm going to change the prompt here to say, here, blog post. And this is my new prompt. So again, depending on what you're doing in the process, if you just figure out keywords for your entire website, then stick with the niche. But if you want LSI keywords for your blog post, then stick with this prompt. I'm going to place both prompts on the screen as a screenshot, so you can just copy, pause the video, take a screenshot so that it's up to your reference. And what I'm going to doing is also in the description of this video, I'm going to include a Google Doc with all the prompts I've used. And if I change them often, maybe in a later date, I'll just keep improving the prompts so that you can just copy them directly from that Google document. All right. So let's use this prompt and see what the answers are from ChatGPT. So here's the response from ChatGPT. So it's given me 15 different keywords, basically, which are long tail keywords or long tail questions that people ask about the related topic. So you can see here how to choose the right elderly caregiver for my family, steps to hiring a trustworthy in-home caregiver for seniors. So many different ideas that we can cover in the blog post. And of course, we can write new content as well if you figure out that, hey, this is a piece of content that should be a separate blog post. And of course, we also have similar topics and keywords. So we have elderly caregiver qualifications, hiring process, legal and financial aspects, caregiver support, and local services. So these are all different ideas that you can use to write new blog posts as well on your website. That's why ChatGPT is so powerful, because you can get or take a lot of the, let's say, pain process of like spending a lot of time doing this and just give you answers instantly. So that's what we'll do. So let's do the next step, which is generating an SEO optimized outline for our blog post, not content, outline for our blog post. And here's the prompt. So I'll just copy it from my computer and paste it here. So let's read that out. Give me an SEO optimized structure for 10 tips to hire someone for elderly care blog post. With every subheading, include the most important things to cover under the heading as well. So this prompt will give us an outline. Hey, these are the subheadings we can use. And also, what are the things that we should be covering inside the subheadings as well? This is very important. Otherwise, you might not understand that, hey, what all aspects should we cover inside the blog post? Again, you can modify the prompt a little bit to your liking if you have some other questions in mind. But based on my testing, this is a very short prompt that gives us a very reasonable idea, or I say, optimize SEO outlines. So let's run the prompt and see what the answers are. So here's the response from ChatGPT, and it's pretty insightful. So the SEO optimized structure for this blog post, of course, we see the introduction and we see 3 bullet points. So briefly explain the importance of hiring the right elderly caregiver, mention the challenges, and say the purpose of the article, which is helping families make an informed decision. Pretty decent, and I say gives you a rounded example of, hey, these are the things we need to cover in the blog post itself. And then comes the main actual headlines, which is the 10 essential tips for hiring an elderly caregiver. So second point or second subheading is assess your needs and budget. And of course, we have 3 ideas here based on what we can actually write the blog post. And we also see here that ChatGPT is giving us that, hey, with the headline, this is the keyword that I'm using to determine that this should be part of the article. And it's doing for every single subheading, which is pretty powerful. So the next one is look for proper qualifications experience, conduct background checks and verify references, ask the right interview questions, understand legal and contractual obligations, consider hiring through an agency versus independently, observe a trial period before full commitment, ensure compatibility with the elderly person, and setting up monitoring and feedback system, and then the conclusion. So you can see that based on the research we've done, ChatGPT is giving us a great outline that, hey, this is how you write the blog post, and these are the topics you cover, and this is exactly the kind of questions you have to address in the blog post itself. So instead of just writing off the fly without actually knowing what your audience wants, this is a much better approach. And now we have an SEO optimized approach to understand that these are already things that people are looking for. And now we can proceed to the next step, which is writing our content. So when it comes to using ChatGPT to write the complete blog post, this is where most people get it wrong. They think because ChatGPT can write blog posts, we should use ChatGPT to write complete blog posts. Now, this is against Google guidelines to mass produce content to spam the Google algorithm. And regardless of whatever prompt you can change around, you're not going to get a great blog post that will rank high in the search results, especially after the helpful content update. Now, if you don't know what the helpful content update is, it was released after introduction of ChatGPT somewhere in 2022, and basically says that, hey, your content should be written for humans first, not for search engines. Of course, it should represent EEAT. That means expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Now, all of these are important factors that Google looks at to understand if you are actually an authority on the blog subject. And their instructions, or I'd say their guidelines on AI written content and general content in general, explicitly say that while reading the blog post, do you think they'll have the answer to that question? Do you think they'll feel more informed after reading the blog post? Do you think they'll bookmark it, save it, or send it to a friend? So the more helpful you can make a blog post by sharing your actual experience and expertise, authority, and of course, increasing trust in the user, the higher probability that your blog post is going to rank. So what you need to do is look at the blog post outline that we generated with ChatGPT and then sit down and write some outlines for the actual blog post. This is the crucial step that a lot of people miss. So what I've done is spend some time and written down some notes with the help of AI, and of course as myself as well, because I am not the actual service provider. And I'm going to show you right now that what kind of blog post or what kind of notes you can write about the blog post that you can convert it into a blog post using ChatGPT. So I've taken the entire blog post outline generated by ChatGPT and put it into WordPress. Now comes the most important part, which is adding our own flavor on it, the experience, expertise, authority, and trust factors. Because this cannot be replicated by ChatGPT, we're going to take a look at the outline, and I'm going to just mention casually what kind of things we can add and what are the things you should look at to add your own flavor on and on your expertise on. So this is the SEO optimized structure for 10 tips to hire someone for elderly care. Don't worry about the headline. We're going to change it later. But this is the introduction. Briefly explain the importance of hiring the right elderly caregiver, mention the challenges families face when selecting a caregiver, state the purpose of the article helping families make an informed decision. This is the introduction. Now, look at these bullet points. This is where your expertise has to shine. And I'm not talking about obviously this blog post, but any niche you are in. Since you are the one who's providing the service or doing the business, you must have actual expertise in the subject, and that is what the expertise you have to show in the blog post itself. So for example, we have the option here, assess your needs and budget, which is based on the keyword, how to choose the right elderly caregiver. So here, the obvious points that ChatGPT is suggesting us that, hey, determine whether you need part-time, full-time, or live-in care, consider medical versus non-medical assistance needs, and estimate the caregiver budget and available financial assistance. So of course, this is pretty obvious stuff, but of course, since you are the expert, can you share multiple things that people miss or some important considerations about this? How do we determine whether someone needs part-time, full-time, or live-in care? And how does someone consider that, hey, even though it's a non-medical care, but it might transition into medical care, or how to transition? All those are experience, or I'd say your expertise, that should reflect in the blog post as well. That is where your job comes into play. So then again, the next point is look for proper qualifications and experience, which talks about certificates and formal trainings to look out for, experience with specific conditions, that means dementia, mobility issues, and soft skills like patience, empathy, and reliability. So this is where you can add your own things on top. How does one judge for this? What are the certifications that we should look out for? How do we understand which are certificates that are actually qualified? Because, anybody can take a certificate. And then how do we test for soft skills? And what are the things to look out for? Common red flags. That is the experience and expertise you need to add to your blog post as well. Again, let's go through a couple of more bullet points to analyze what can we add here. So again, we have conduct background checks and verify references. So how to check criminal records and work history, contacting previous employers or families, and identify red flags during verification. Now, these are the things that we need to do, but how do we do it? Is there a specific agency you recommend so that people can do background checks safely? What are common red flags to look out for? And what is the safest way to identify or do background check without notifying the person that a background check has been done on them? So there's so many different things that people won't know unless you tell them, which is the experience part of this. So what you need to do is take the entire blog post outline and add your own notes on top so that you can share that, hey, this is the experience. This is what I want to add. This is one of the things I want to talk about, or these are things. And then take that entire blog post outline that is modified by you, or I say enhanced by you, and then take it back into ChatGPT and ask it to draft. Now, of course, this is just an example, and I'm not an actual expert on home care or assisted care. So I'm going to take the same outline that I'm going to show you on the screen and run it to ChatGPT and give you a specific prompt that you can use to convert it into a blog post. So once you're done adding your own experience and expertise to the blog topic, now you can come back to ChatGPT and use this prompt to actually write a blog post with ChatGPT. This is the prompt. I'm going to read it out. Based on the blog post outline that I've just shared above, create a draft blog post on the topic, Home Elderly Care, a comprehensive guide to choosing the best care for seniors. Again, you can change the blog title to however you like. Keep Google's helpful content update and guidelines about AI-generated content in mind when writing the draft. The primary goal of the blog post is to be helpful and answer key questions for the readers, not rank in search engines. Use a conversational style of writing with a helpful and empathetic tone. Keep the language and vocabulary fit for an 8th grader. Don't use bullet points too much. When needed, just list the bullets, but write the actual content above the bullet as well, or about the bullet as well. Keep the sentences short and stick to 4 to 5 sentences per paragraph at most. Once again, keep Google's helpful content update and AI content generated guidelines as in mind. So this is the prompt, and I just tested a few things out to make sure that this prompt actually works all the time. And I'm using draft as just a reference. You can say, hey, write a blog post, and it works usually fine. One thing to keep in mind is, because this is about assisted care for seniors, I have specifically chosen the tone as empathetic and friendly. But depending on the kind of blog post you're writing, for example, if you are backpacking for teenagers, blog post, then your tone can be different, and you can be friendly, you can be a little snarky or like witty, whatever you like. So make sure the tone is appropriate for your audience. In this case, I've just chosen empathetic, right? So let's add or run the prompt and let's see what we get. So this is the response from ChatGPT, and we can read out a couple of paragraphs to see how well the content is actually written. So introduction, assess your needs and look for proper qualifications. Let's read this one. A good caregiver should have the right skills and training. Look for certifications in elderly care or nursing. Experience is also important, especially if your loved one has mobility issues or a medical condition. Soft skills matter too. A caregiver should be patient, kind, and dependable. Their attitude can have a big impact on the senior's quality of life. And again, conduct background checks and verify references. Trust is essential when hiring a caregiver. Always check their background for any criminal history. Ask for references and contact their previous employers. Find out if they were reliable, kind, and good at the job. Look out for red flags like frequent job changes or bad reviews from past employers. So based on the outline we provided, again, this is the most important part. If your outline has a lot of like good information, then the content generated will also be good. So based on the outline we shared, I think the blog post is pretty good written, but I think the formatting could be better. So I'm just going to write one more prompt, which is, hey, convert this into a format that I can directly copy and paste in the WordPress blog editor. So I'm just going to write that prompt here and run it. So I've run the prompt here, and this is the complete blog post written for us. And again, this is not a complete finished product. We're going to take it into WordPress and use the power of something called all-in-one SEO. If you have not heard of it, it's an SEO plugin for WordPress, and enhance our content even further. So let me copy paste this in WordPress and let's get started. So this is the blog post finally added to WordPress, and you can see it looks great. And of course, it has no images right now. You can add images. That stuff is obvious, that you can add images, videos, whatever you have extra media, and also internal linking to other blog posts. Because what we've done right now is take Google's EEAT guidelines, add our own expertise and authority, and use ChatGPT as writing assistant basically to help us craft the content. Now we can take it a step further in terms of optimizing for SEO using the power of all-in-one SEO. So what's all-in-one SEO? It's a powerful SEO plugin for WordPress. If you don't know how to install plugins, let me demonstrate. By the way, I already have it installed, and it's a free plugin to get started. So we'll go to plugin section here, and inside plugins, we'll go here called add a new plugin. And this will bring up the WordPress plugins menu. Plugins are basically like apps for WordPress. I'm just going to go here and I'm going to type in AIOSEO. And I'm going to search for all-in-one SEO. And you'll see this is the plugin. It's already installed on my side. That's why you see it's active, but yours should say install now, something like this. So just click it and you'll have the option to activate the plugin. And once it's activated, you can go back to the blog post, refresh your page, and then I'll show you exactly what to work with. So make sure to install all-in-one SEO if you want to follow the next few steps. They are very, very important. So I'll go back to my blog post, and since I have AIOSEO already installed, you'll see a couple of changes here compared to your blog post. You'll see elements here. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll also see AIOSEO settings. Now, this is where the magic happens when it comes to optimizing your content. So you have, first of all, the SERP preview. SERP preview is, hey, this is how your blog post will look like in the search engines. And you can see it for desktop as well as mobile. Now, the most important part to keep in mind here is that the title right now for our blog post is too long. So it's being cut off. So this title is something that we can shorten. So that's the first important, insight that all-in-one SEO is already giving us. Hey, make sure that it's shorter. And you can see here the recommendation 97 out of 60 max characters. So we have to reduce it quite a bit to fit into the actual meta title. And also the meta description is again being cut off. And right now we haven't written a meta description specifically for this blog post. So what I'm going to do is, after I do some other changes I'm going to show you, we're going to go to ChatGPT and ask to write us a meta description for this blog post. Well, that's pretty cool stuff. So the idea here is that by using all-in-one SEO, you can take the guesswork out of, hey, is this blog post optimized enough for Google as well? And the way to start with that is going here and using focus key phrases. So focus key phrases says, hey, what are the main keywords that I want to rank for? That is basically the focus key phrase. So what I'll do is go here and search for home elderly care, because that's our primary keyword. Scroll back to the bottom of the page and add that to focus key phrase and click it here. And we'll just press enter. And this will add home elderly care as a focus key phrase. And now the benefit of using this is that we are seeing specific recommendations coming from all-in-one SEO that, hey, this is how we increase the probability of our blog post ranking in search by doing these things. So what we see here is that focus key phrase is not in meta description. It's not written well yet. So we can do that. We have focus key phrase is not in an introduction. It's not in subheadings. And the focus key phrase density is quite low. It's almost 0%. So what we can do is take the same blog post and take these instructions to ChatGPT and say, hey, include this keyword naturally throughout the blog post, keeping density this much, and also add this in the meta description and so. So what I'm going to do is go back to my ChatGPT window and ask it to write a meta description using this keyword. So let's go here and write the prompt. So I've just given the prompt to ChatGPT. Simple prompt, please write a meta description for the blog post under 160 characters. Make sure to add the keyword home elderly care in it. And it's given a great output. So I'm just going to copy this here. And I'm going to go back to my post window. And inside the meta description, I'm going to go to post excerpt, delete the post excerpt. So it's right now, it's blank. And you see it's nothing here. I'm going to paste the meta description. And now you see 154 characters. And now we have a great looking meta description right now using ChatGPT. And this introduction or this AIOSEO recommendation is also now fixed. So what we can do is we can take the same elements again and go back to ChatGPT and prompt it to include this as well. So what I'm going to do is focus key phrase in introduction. This is a recommendation coming from All-in-One SEO. So if you go back here and just copy the initial paragraph, right? You can just ask ChatGPT to use the first paragraph as well, but I'm just going to copy and paste it so that it's easier. So if you're using multiple windows or you just want to optimize your older blog post, you can still do that. So I'm going to go back here. So I've just pasted the paragraph and simple prompt is please rewrite this paragraph to include the keyword home elderly care in it. I'm going to send it. And now you have a completely rewritten paragraph with the focus keyword. So I'm going to take this again, copy it, go back to our post, and I'm just going to select this and delete and update. And now if you go back here, we'll see our recommendation is also fixed. So this is how you go back and forth by taking the recommendations from All-in-One SEO and optimize your blog post well. Now, there are many things we can do to make sure that blog post has the maximum chances of success, but I don't want to make this video too long. But the most important part of any blog post is the headline. So let me show you how to use All-in-One SEO to understand if your headline is already great or you need to optimize it. So if you scroll just to here or take your mouse to the top right corner of the screen, you see two icons here. One is All-in-One SEO icon and one is an H icon. And the H is for headline. This is All-in-One SEO's headline analyzer. So if you click on it, you'll see that All-in-One SEO has given a score to your headline. So right now you can see this headline is 48 out of 100 and it could be better. But how can we make it better? So if you scroll down, we see common words are included, but they're not uncommon words. There are no emotional words. There are no power words. The sentiment is pretty positive. The headline is general, but we can make it better, right? So the ideal idea is to get up at least a score above 70, which will make sure that it has a great, or I say, a great chances of ranking in search. So what I'm going to do is take this once again back to ChatGPT and write a simple prompt to optimize the headline. And the best part about using ChatGPT and a combination of All-in-One SEO is that if you change the headline, it'll not completely erase the recommendation. It'll give you a comparison of all the different headlines you've tried, and then you can understand which of the headlines is best. So let's add the prompt here. So the simple prompt I've written is rewrite this headline to make it more emotional, add a power word if necessary, keep the main keyword home elderly care as close to the beginning of the headline as possible, give me 3 variations to test. So let's send the prompt. So after trying a lot of different variations of headlines, I'm finally able to reach the score of 69, which is close to 70. So I'm going to just roll with it right now. And keep in mind that this is just a directive. It's not a rule. And you have to prioritize readability as well. So you don't need to go to 100 and completely botch the headline and so that it just becomes incomprehensible. So a fine balance is something you should be looking for. So close enough. The headline is 10 amazing tips to find the best home elderly care for seniors. Now, what we have done with All-in-One SEO is also very powerful. What we did was we rewrote the headline to be more impactful. We changed the content a little bit to include the main important keywords that we have. And we also made a lot of different important changes. Now, we are not done. We can still do more with All-in-One SEO, and we're just using the free version, not even the premium version. So in the free version of All-in-One SEO, what you see right here, we can change the title as well. We can write a completely new title for Meta. That means search engines, that we can fit it here. We can also change the focus key phrase, add more focus key phrases here. Additional focus key phrase can be added in the pro version, and we can optimize our content even further. In All-in-One SEO, there's some additional features as well, which you can utilize to optimize your content. For example, if you go here, you can optimize your content for social sharing using logos and default images and even the metadata. And of course, you can also go into schema and generate schema with specific kind of schemas as well. So if I click the generate schema button, it's going to prompt me to upgrade to the pro version because schema is a pro feature, but that's what the power of All-in-One SEO is. You don't have to do anything, just click a button and the schema will be generated as well. And by the way, All-in-One SEO also has a sister product, which is called SEO Boost, which is a completely different product. I'm going to link a couple of videos in the description about SEO Boost that I've done. It's also very, very powerful. And all over SEO has amazing features. It has a link assistant, which will allow you to or let you find linking opportunities within different blog posts. So basically what all in SEO is a complete assistant for you to optimize your blog content for SEO. And with the directions and with the specific prompts I've given you, I hope that you understood how to use ChatGPT to your advantage to write the content and then take the power of all in SEO and optimize the content for SEO, readers, and of course also for Google's all important updates. So that's the video, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, you like this video. If you have any comments and questions still, the comment box is open. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe to this channel and enjoy more future content. So I'm going to place a couple of videos which are important. You should watch them, click on them, and watch those very next. You're watching Yuvraj from W Beginner. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.